I am joined right now by Ruby Soho. Big week coming up. Dynamite on Wednesday, Rampage on Friday, leading into Double or Nothing in Las Vegas. But you also have an appearance on Carpool Karaoke, the series, this week. We're going to talk about everything going on in the world of AEW, your appearance on the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, Bill?
I'm good. I'll start first talking about the Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. Uh, we know kind of how it's going so far. You are uh, advancing into the next round. You're gonna be, you now know after Rampage that you're gonna be facing Kris Statlander in the semifinals. Uh, how are you feeling going into this week? Like, we know that things are kind of going to culminate in Las Vegas, but how are you feeling going into that match, knowing you're one step closer to winning the tournament, or at least advancing to the finals?
I am so excited. So excited. I know that this is going to be both a mentally and emotionally and physically taxing week going forward. I know that Kris Statlander is, a friend of mine, and I have faced her, in tournament matches, in a tournament match prior to this, and it was, a match that really pushed me to my limit because Kris is absolutely one of the most talented women I've ever stepped into the ring with. Um, but that being said, I feel like I'm facing a very different version than I faced, in the TBS tournament. Kris, is one in the absolute best shape of her entire life since I've known her, and two, she's in into this mentality of being more than a woman. She's a warrior at this point. She's a lot more relentless, a lot more ruthless, and I have to take that into consideration going into this match with her, although I do, consider her a friend. So I know that, even in that match in the TBS tournament, that could have gone either way. I feel like, I was able to get the win by, the skin of my teeth. So I do know that, I am facing one of the best women, not only just in our roster, but in this industry in general. And think, if I'm able to secure that win, I will know that I have earned my place into the finals. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And as much as I am, you know, dead set on being in a part of the finals at Double or Nothing, I cannot by any means look past Kris Statlander.
I can appreciate the way that you put your relationship. You're looking at her as a competitor, but you also consider her a friend. One other person that spoke highly of your relationship, Tony Storm, was just on AEW Unrestricted. You two have only been in two matches together. One was the 2021 Royal Rumble, but then you actually worked together in the tag match a few weeks ago. But
Mhm.
she said that she noticed that you guys have chemistry right away, but she's not exactly sure how to define it. She just knows that it's
Mhm.
there. So do you think maybe you could answer that question, like what it is that makes you click with each other?
I think that her and I, view wrestling in a very similar way. I think we both have been on very similar journeys in our careers from the indies going forward. I think that Tony and I, in a lot of ways, are a lot alike, which was, why I felt like we were a great tag team. And I'm very particular about my tag partners. While I've had quite a few in AEW, she was one that I really felt like I clicked with. And, sometimes your best partners make the best opponents, which we, obviously very recently saw with FTR. So like, because they know you so well, they can really take you to that next level. So, the possibility of, ideally, trying to beat Kris Statlander and potentially if she manages to hopefully beat the crap out of Britt Baker, the possibility of us, being against each other in this tournament is definitely something that has crossed my mind on several occasions. I've been a huge fan of Toni Storm, and she's been on my bucket list to wrestle for quite some time. So I adore that girl with everything I have. She's a wonderful person, and I'm a huge fan of her work, and I think that our similarities could potentially make us some really, really formidable opponents.
Yeah, usually when we talk about some stuff like this, it's like, okay, well, when or if, but you both, as you pointed out, you're one win away from facing each other. So
Yeah.
there's so much that could go on the next week.
Mm-hmm.
So we could get that match sooner than later, and I think you hit the nail on the head. You know each other so well that it creates a really great dynamic once you know, instead of working together, you're working against each other, but it clicks on another level.
Mm-hmm.
34 matches so far in AEW. I usually do a watch list feature. Just, I like getting talent feedback on whether it's a match that really highlights what you want fans to see, maybe one that felt like you had like a really complete match as a wrestler. Anything come to mind in your AEW run so far? It's coming up just about 9 months so far.
I didn't know that. 34 matches in 9 months. I did not know that.
This is according to cagematch.net, so they're usually pretty reliable.
As far as matches that stand out, I think I have 3 in particular that I can think of that really kind of define my year. I think my match at Arthur Ashe Stadium against Britt Baker really defined how hungry I was, you know, and still continue to be, you know, since arriving at AEW, but still, you know, being new to the roster and not, I would say, necessarily as prepared as maybe I thought I was. It was a match that, you know, was very physical, and it was a big match for us, you know, being the first time that we were at at that arena and with a huge crowd, you know, a lot of eyes on us. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, going into, you know, the next phase of I feel like my journey would be my match with Kris Statlander during the TBS title tournament. I feel like at that time, you know, I was really coming into and really kind of, you know, really getting used to the environment and to the people around me, and you know, making friendships and stuff like that with Kris, and being able to show the world what, you know, I have been capable of, and her pushing me to that point. So it's a match that definitely stands out to me for that reason. And then, you know, very recently, you know, my match with Riho, I think that states in for me as a performer, and for me in this phase of my career, when I first got here, I was very much just happy to be here. And I think that was a new level of viciousness, you know, that I, you know, was able to bring out, and that, you know, Riho definitely brought out in me, because my gosh, that girl is small, but she is mighty. It was a different level of physicality, I think, than what, you know, I'm used to, or what I think the fans are used to seeing from me. So it's not necessarily anymore the happy to be here mentality, the making friendships mentality. It's more so, okay, now I'm tunnel visioned onto, you know, to being successful.
One other one I wanted to point out, and this was more for the homecoming aspect, but when you got a chance to work in Indianapolis, that was very much a homecoming feel. That was against Charlie Cruel on Elevation, but we have Forbidden Door coming up in Chicago. AEW makes their Detroit debut in June. Are you sort of looking at that as like another hometown crowd, or are you looking that far ahead? Like maybe like
I mean, currently, obviously
not.
It's hard
looking past the tournament, but Do you like get
For
excited
sure.
for stuff like that?
I absolutely do. The Midwest is, in my blood. So, Chicago obviously holds a very special place in my heart. It's where I debuted for this company. It was where I had probably one of the most monumental moments of my career, appearing as the Joker in the Casino Battle Royal. And it is where a lot of the milestones in my career before that really, really took place, was in Chicago. And Detroit, being just a stone's throw away, from where I grew up. And I really do. I really enjoy, Michigan, and I went to school in Michigan, although I was, born in Indiana and everything. So I don't know if it's necessarily a homecoming thing, because I will, always be a Hoosier through and through. But as far as I just did a convention in Detroit, and seeing the excitement for the fans to be able to bring AEW to Detroit, I think it's going to be an amazing show for sure.
You just mentioned your debut. People were singing. People, the reaction was incredible. They knew the song. One of the things we're talking about today is your appearance on Carpool Karaoke. Obviously, music's been a big part of your career, especially now with AEW. You've talked so much about that song, it inspired your name, and shout out to Lars and Dennis Wrestling Perspective podcast for that interview. Very good interview if you haven't heard it. But is there is there a deep cut song that you like to sing in the car? Like, we're probably going to get a little bit more of poppier songs, or, something somebody's familiar with on the show, but is there like a song that you really like to jam out to that, maybe people wouldn't think of at first?
Yeah, so I'm all over the place with my my solo Carpool Karaoke. It really honestly depends on on what kind of mood I'm in. I can listen to And Out Come the Wolves top to bottom and be a happy girl, but also at the same time, I used to do a lot of musical theater, so I will put on some songs that I sang in musicals in the past. I've been very, 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 very into Motown a lot recently, so I think that'd probably be a surprise to a lot of people. I love the Temptations, and Louis Armstrong, and I've like Ain't Too Proud to Beg is one of my favorite songs to just like to out to, because it just always makes me happy. So it honestly, it all depends. If you get in a car with me, it's just going to be real confusing, because I'm going to be all over the place.
I appreciate a lot of them.
To Disney songs, to show tunes, like it'll be all over the place.
I can appreciate it. I like big band. I like doo-wop. And then, when my kids are in the car, they're like, they want to talk about Bruno, even though we're not supposed to now. So your car is an interesting lineup. You have Powerhouse Hobbs as the driver. You have yourself as the passenger, and then MJF is joining you. Did you learn anything new about them or interesting about them while you were driving in the car? Like, I know they're going to edit for the show, but anything that, was a big takeaway?
When I saw that list of people, at first I was shocked, for sure. I was very shocked, because I was like, we could not possibly be more different between the three of us. But it is very, very interesting, because we definitely all three have very different tastes in music. But it's also very surprising to see what songs each other knew from our preferred genre of music. I did learn, even though Max is a horrible person, he has a pretty voice. Usually I hate it when I hear his voice in general, but when he's singing, he's not so bad. It's when he opens his mouth any other time that's the worst. So yeah, it was an interesting car ride, to say the least. but it is definitely, I think it's definitely a different vibe in that car than it was, I believe, in the other car with CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Britt Baker, and Christian Cage. So it's very contrasting groups, but very, very fun nonetheless.
All right. I will get you out of here on this. Most of the time, road trips involve stopping at gas stations, convenience stores, whatever you call them. We saw how the Buc-ee's versus Sheetz debate played out.
Oh. I knew that's where you're going with this.
No, not yet. I must admit something. I am a Sheetz freak myself, or I should say was. I went to Buc-ee's in February on vacation, and I feel like I was converted. Like, it was terrible. I'm sorry, but I need you to bring me back. I need you to cut a promo. Bring me back to the Sheetz side.
First of all, Bill, I liked you for like half a second, and then you just ruined it all. You ruined it. We're having a great interview, and then you gotta go ahead. Okay, so I don't know what you like about your gas stations. For me, convenience is a huge thing. Buc-ee's, there's nothing convenient about Buc-ee's. It's enormous. It's too big. There's too much crap everywhere. Like, I don't understand. It's honestly like a Sam's Club and a flea market had a baby and made a gas station. I don't understand the appeal to it. It's too big. It's too big. And so who do you go to gas stations to go get home decor? I don't know. I don't. I sure as heck don't. I go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I go to Buc-ee's to get home decor or a bedazzled cowboy hat. I don't need any of that stuff. I just need convenience. I need good quality food. I need stuff that is at my disposal that I know they're always going to have the best kinds, the best energy drinks, the best food, mac and cheese bites, bro. If that doesn't convert you back, I don't know what will.
I think you've won me over. I've always felt like MTO is the way to go. So, hey, I appreciated the brisket, but I've always been a Sheetz guy. So
yeah,
my next trip.
The food bad. The food wasn't bad. It was good. I had a good pulled pork sandwich. I'm not mad at it, but like the maze of crap that I had to sift through to get to the pulled pork sandwich is what made me not like it. So come back to the light side, man. Come back to the good side, to the winning side.
All right. Fair argument, compelling argument. Hopefully I see a Sheetz on my next road trip. Thank you very much for your time today. This was a lot of fun. As I mentioned, AEW has a huge week with Dynamite, Rampage, FanFest, all leading up to Double or Nothing. And then your appearance on Carpool Karaoke, May 27th. Check it out on Apple TV+. It's Carpool Karaoke, the series. Ruby, thanks very much for your time today.
Thanks, Bill.